It is not supposed to be fire season yet in Australia, where summer hasn't even begun. But more than 60 devastating bushfires are already raging in a ring around Sydney. Authorities have declared a state of emergency after fires burned through more than 1,200 square kilometres, which is an area about the size of New York City. Coincidentally, this happens just a month after Australia elected a new Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, who once called climate science absolute rubbish, though of course he did use more colourful language, as you can see. And it's likely the worst is yet to come. Local officials fear that hot, dry and windy conditions could cause the largest of the fires to merge into a single massive inferno this week. In the past 12 months, Australia has seen the hottest summer in the hottest year on record. So hot, in fact, that the Weather Bureau has added the new colour purple to its maps to record temperatures once thought to be off the scale, up to 54 degrees Celsius or 129 degrees Fahrenheit. And climate scientists acknowledge that even a small change in temperature can lead to a major change in the frequency and severity of heat extremes, leaving Australia particularly vulnerable to destructive bushfires. Obviously, climate change isn't the only culprit here. 2 boys, 11 and 15, were arrested for starting 2 of those fires north of Sydney. And Tony Abbott, a volunteer firefighter himself, seen here pitching in with his brigade, has walked back his remarks rubbishing climate science, calling them a bit of rhetorical hyperbole. But despite the fact that Australia is one of the world's largest polluters on a per capita basis, Abbott ran on a pledge to kill a carbon tax that had already been in place, and he axed the country's independent climate commission. My colleague Stan Grant is now back home in Australia, and he's an editor and anchor at our affiliate there, Sky News. He gave me the lay of the land from Sydney just earlier. Stan Grant, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Nice to be here.
Tell me, what is the actual facts of the matter right now? How bad are the fires? Are they anywhere close to being brought under control?
Well, Christiane, it has in every sense been a living hell for people here for almost a week now. There are 60 fires that are burning across New South Wales. Now, this is the most populated state in Australia. Now, of those 60, more than a dozen of them are still burning out of control. And the real fear here is that things could get worse. Wednesday is being talked about as D-Day. That's when we're going to see high winds, we're going to see very high temperatures as well. And there is a real concern here that the major fires that are burning in the Blue Mountains area, which is west of the largest city in Australia, Sydney, could actually link together and form what they're calling a mega fire. Now, firefighters have been battling in the past couple of days to try to ensure that doesn't happen. There have been reinforcements brought in from other states. There are more than 1,500 firefighters who are out there. They're using water drops from helicopters. They're using backburning, trying to make sure that they can hold these major fires at bay and that we don't see them link up into what they're calling a mega fire. Christiane?
Stan, how much pressure is Prime Minister Abbott under right now, given his very public views on the idea of climate change and pretty much rubbishing them?
There is a real political debate about how to deal with this issue of climate change. Now, Tony Abbott in the past has been criticised for being a climate sceptic, if not a climate change denier. Now, he stepped back a lot from the hard line that he's taken, but he's been very ideological when it comes to how to deal with this. He wants to scrap the Labor Party's carbon tax. He's going to face a real struggle in the Parliament to be able to do that. And if he isn't able to achieve that, he's threatening to go back to the electorate, dissolve Parliament and go back to another election to get a mandate to do that. Now, at the same time, he's already scrapped the Climate Change Commission here in Australia. He doesn't want to go down that path. He believes that is going to cause damage to the Australian economy. He's looking at more direct action. There is a real strong political, ideological battle over climate change and how to deal with it. The fires that we're seeing right now are only going to increase that pressure and increase the volume of that discussion and debate, particularly once we're past the worst of the fires, Christiane.
It's really fascinating to watch. And Stan Grant, thank you so much for joining me on this.
Pleasure, Christiane.